The red light on the camera blinked quietly. The lights were bright, almost too bright, but Zara sat still in her royal blue suit. Her face looked calm, like early morning water, but her fingers were tight around her purse. The woman with the mic smiled sweetly and asked the question everyone wanted to know. You're rich, smart, and a well-known philanthropist, and many men think you're the perfect woman. But you left your husband, Chief Kenamadi. Why? Zara smiled, but it was the kind of smile that carries pain. She turned her eyes away for a second, as if watching an old, painful movie only she could see. Because sometimes fixing something hurts more than letting go. Not every fight is worth the pain. Everyone watching leaned in. They had read the news. Rich philanthropist leaves billionaire husband over side chick. But no one knows Zara's past or what she'd been through. They didn't understand the experiences that shaped her, not even her husband. Once upon a time, Zara began, her voice like a whisper, in a quiet corner of the city, there lived a woman who loved too much. Her name was Amaka. They said she was the kind of woman who could cook peace into a pot of soup, the kind of woman whose prayers covered her home like morning dew. She wasn't rich, but her heart was full of dreams, full of hope, and full of trust. Amaka was married to a powerful man, Chief Obina Uma, a man rich with power and praised by all, and she trusted too much. People called him the Lion of Trade Street. He owned big warehouses, exotic cars, and wore expensive gold chains. But he was also a man with a wandering heart. But while the world saw a lion, Amaka saw a man she once loved with all her heart. You see, this woman, Amaka, she believed love could heal anything. Even wounds you couldn't see. Even betrayal. She fought, not with fists or loud words, but with silence, with sacrifice, with holding on when everyone else would let go. She fought for her home, for her children, for the man who once held her hands and swore she was the only flower in his garden. But sometimes, love is not enough. And that's where her story began to break. Then came Tonya. Tonya had the body of a dancer and the voice of a soft song. She was smart, calm, and always smiled. Chief Obina brought her into his office as a secretary. At first, Amaka said nothing. She only watched. But soon, Tonya was everywhere. She made calls, changed meeting times, whispered things that made Chief Obina laugh in ways he never laughed with Amaka. She's just helping, he said. You worry too much, he said. But Amaka saw it, the crack in the wall, and inside that crack, something evil was growing. One evening, Tonya came to the gate man with a heavy envelope. The gate man's daughter was sick in a hospital. He had no money, and hope was running dry. Tonya gave him a small smile, then held out the envelope. Please, she said, her voice breaking, I need your help. How can I help you? He asked. She pulled out a small brown bottle and looked around. I realize Madame has been worried and sad, she whispered. I really think she needs some rest. This is just some herbs, local roots that will help her sleep better, be calm, and feel happier. Baba Chinadu stared at the bottle. She had been tipping him for months, quietly sliding money into his hand whenever she visited. He never asked, but he never refused. Now, her request felt like something he owed her. My daughter, he began, his voice low. Tonya quickly pressed the envelope into his hand. This will help your daughter, I promise. I just want peace in this house. He looked at the bottle once more, then gave a slow nod. That night, he went to the kitchen and gave the bottle to the old cook. "It's from Madame," he said. The cook said nothing. She opened the bottle and poured the contents into the pot of stew. Everyone ate, Chief Obena, Amaka, the children, and the domestic staff. Except the baby, Zara, who was still being breastfed. The poison wasn't meant for Chief Obena. Earlier that day, he had told Tonya he wouldn't be going home. They had plans to meet later that night. But he changed his mind. Amaka had called him in the afternoon, reminding him they were celebrating their wedding anniversary. A simple dinner with the kids and her. So he went home. He smiled. He ate. Little did he know, the stew he ate from was meant to destroy his own family. By morning, silence filled the house like smoke. One soft cry broke through. It was baby Zara. Now. The studio fell into deep silence. Even the cameraman paused, his fingers frozen on the zoom button. A woman in the audience quietly wiped a tear from the corner of her eye. Another clutched her chest like she had just swallowed sorrow. The interviewer blinked fast, trying to hold back her own emotions. She opened her mouth to speak, but closed it again. Zara just sat there, calm and quiet, her voice steady. But her eyes held years of pain wrapped in glass. The whole room could feel it. This wasn't just a story. It was a scar. And everyone was listening now, not just with their ears, but with their hearts. Zara continued, still alive, still feeding from her mother. She had not eaten the stew. A neighbor, hearing the silence and the cry, jumped the fence. Inside, they found what silence really meant. Everyone else was gone. Far away, in a dimly lit living room in Port Harcourt, an elderly woman let out a sharp gasp. Her hand flew to her chest, her TV remote slipping from her fingers. Eyes wide and wet. God, have mercy. And on the studio set, no one moved. The lights were hot. The air was still. But the chill in the room came from somewhere else. From the truth that had just been spoken. A truth that could never be forgotten. She continued. Zara was raised by her mother's sister. She grew up with questions in her eyes. One day, when she was grown, her aunt gave her a small book wrapped in cloth. It was Amaka's diary. Zara read it slowly, her hands shaking. I feel her stealing him from me. She wants me gone. She said I'll regret ever marrying him. Zara closed the book, but the words stayed. They stayed in her chest like smoke. Zara grew into a strong woman. She built her name. She married Chief Ken Amadi, a man with smooth speech and big dreams. She was happy until the day Grace arrived. Grace was beautiful, calm, sweet. Too sweet. Zara saw the signs, the soft laughs, the harmless touches, the late calls. The way Ken smiled more when Grace was near. Zara remembered. And the ghost of Amaka whispered in her ear, It's starting again. Zara didn't argue. She didn't cry. She put cameras in the house. She watched. She waited. And she saw. Grace started entering rooms she shouldn't, like their bedroom, without knocking. She touched Ken's arm whenever she spoke to him, laughing too loudly at his jokes, and leaning too close, like she had no boundaries. Zara noticed it all. And the way Grace smiled, calm, confident, like the house already belonged to her, made Zara's chest tighten. That's when she knew. Something wasn't right. Something had already crossed the line. Zara told him. "You're imagining things," he said. "You need help," he said. But Zara had seen a house full of silence before. She knew what poison looked like, even when it smiled. Still, she didn't walk away. Not yet. She needed to be sure. So when Ken said he had a quick business trip in Abuja, Zara smiled and nodded. She packed his bag herself. She kissed him goodbye. Then she made a quiet call. A quiet, sharp-eyed guy named Jack, a friend of a friend who knew how to follow shadows. "I just need to know if she's with him," Zara said. 3 days later, the proof came in Zara's inbox. Photos, videos. Ken and Grace. Not at a meeting. Not at a conference. But at the airport, laughing, holding hands. Then kissing like they didn't fear the world. Ken and Grace at the hotel pool, sipping wine, their legs touching under the water. Then the final one, a clear video of them kissing in the hotel hallway. And disappearing into the same room. Zara watched it all in silence. There was no mistake. No misunderstanding. No more pretending. She had fought too hard to end up like her mother. This time, she wouldn't beg. She wouldn't break. She wouldn't burn trying to hold what was already ash. Zara left. The newspaper screamed. "Crazy woman leaves rich husband." She was just jealous. But Zara didn't explain. Until the day she brought everything to court, the diary. The video. The phone recordings. The truth hit like a hammer. The world went quiet. 2 months later, Zara sat in front of the cameras. This time she wore no jewelry, no makeup, just strength. "My mother drank the poison," she said. "She didn't know it. She was too busy trying to fix things." Her eyes stared deep into the camera. "I saw the cup. I saw what was inside, and I put it down." That night, millions of women sat in their homes holding their breath. And some, for the first time, put their own cups down too. Zara wrote a book about her life and called it The Last Sip. It sold more copies than anyone could count. The last words of her book were, "Sometimes the most dangerous thing a woman can do is fight for a man who is already lost either because of another woman, or because he's too proud, or because there's a darkness inside him. My mother loved until it killed her. I chose to live." Dear friend, thank you for listening to Zara's story. If it touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel to support us.